Hey everyone, Dave here. I'm going to be building a 69 C60 crew cab monster truck, California compliant monster truck. So I figured, what the hell, let's make a video out of it. So I'll try to be going over step by step of me building this truck. It may take a little while, but let's see what happens. And for a rust bucket. So, because I'm not going to spend 10 grand on something that's rotted out, and being a fabricator, I'm going to take two cabs, weld them together, make my own crew cab. So I'm just going to start rough cutting this thing with a plasma cutter, and let's see what happens. This is pretty much the fastest way that I know how to cut this out. So it's not pretty, but it works good. Might see me going over a couple spots 2 or 3 times because there's multiple layers there. Alright, so I got most of the firewall, well, pretty much all the firewall, I should say, cut out. It's rough, but that's okay because I'm going to go back and trim it out with an actual cutoff wheel, make it nice. So the next thing is I got to get the dash out. I'm going to leave most of the floor for now, even though all of it's getting cut out, but just for strength and holding the cab together until I get the other cab in here and start doing the same thing. I'll get both pieces braced on the bottom with some scrap pieces of tubing to make sure the thing doesn't open up on me. Try to keep it somewhat square. So I'll go ahead and get the dash out and maybe start cutting the A-pillars. I got the dash, part of the A-pillars. Still have the roof part to cut out, top half. So it's basically just going to be pretty much from here forward. It's going to get cut out. Kind of where the straight part's out here. All of this will become essentially the B pillar because this is going to be the rear doors. So I'll have to cut most of this out and scab this into this part of the other cab. Again, like I said, all the floor is going to get cut out, but I'm leaving all of that in here just for structural purposes to keep this thing somewhat intact until I build a temporary structure. It's sitting on my scissor lift right now, but it's not big enough for both of the cabs to sit on here, so I got to get some box tube and build a temporary frame. So that'll kind of be the next project, and we'll get to that when we get to it. Well, good morning. Today I'm gonna do a little cleanup. Garage is a mess. And I'll take you out and show you the rest of this project and continue on. All right, so here's the rest of the project. So it started life as a 71 C20 two-wheel drive pickup. I've got the C60 front end. Now I know the fenders and hood are in pretty rough shape, but I'm not actually using these. Just using them as mock-up and dimensions so I can build the rest of the truck. I'll be making new fenders from scratch. I might repair the hood. We'll see how that goes. But so it's got excuse me, it's got 2.5 ton Rockwell axles front and rear. It's got 47-inch MRAP military wheels and tires. Full 4-link front and rear. So I also put a 5.9 Cummins in it. The transmission that's in it right now is an automatic, which is not staying in there. I've got a SM 465 4-speed with a splitter going in. It's got a MP200 transfer case. It will be on full air ride, king coilovers all the way around. Right now it's in its lowest possible position. The bottom of the rockers at ride height wind up being about 59 inches off the ground. So this chassis I'm actually stripping and not going to use. This is the stock C20 chassis that I boxed and was going to use it, but the project kind of evolved. So being that I'm making it into a crew cab, I need to make the chassis longer. So instead of scabbing in a couple pieces to make it longer, I'm building all new frame rails for it. So the problem I ran into, and the reason why I'm stretching this thing, is because with the C60 front end on it, you can see how much I had to move the cab forward to get the front wheels to line up with the wheel openings. So instead of making the chassis shorter, which would cause all kinds of problems with drive shafts and everything else, I decided to make it a crew cab, make it longer, which would fix a lot of my problems. Yes, it gives me a hell of a lot more work, but in the end, it will be a lot nicer. So you can see the gap difference. That's how much I had to move the cab forward. But today, what I'd like to do is get the bed off into my trailer. I live in an HOA community, so it's hard to have cars torn apart in a driveway without them bitching and moaning. So I'll get the bed off, put it in my trailer, put it up in the RV lot, start getting the cab and the front end off, and then start stripping the chassis down. And that'll be the next step. Well, I got one side off. It's definitely slow going when these things have never been taken apart. It's all original paint. It's been a California truck, so it's not rotted out, luckily, but the bolts still get corroded and don't want to come off. So, on to the other side. All right, so I was able to get the cab off, as you can see out there in the driveway. No small feat on its own. Now I just got to get the thing into the garage, which is going to be the next hurdle. Even stripped down, they're still pretty heavy. Okay, it's in. So I think what I'll do is I'll start cutting this one apart first, and then we'll move the other one back on. I'll have to get some box tube to build a longer frame, temporary frame, so that way it all fits.
So you can kind of get an idea of what's going on here. So this is the front door, the back of the front door, and this is the hinge pockets for the rear door. So obviously I need to trim all of this out and get these two butted together closer, so that way there's no gap, you know, between the front and rear door. And then obviously you can see the gap that we're going to wind up having to bridge here. So it's coming along. That's going to do it for the first episode. Please like and subscribe, and remember, always weld your vision.